Hello, everyone. Uh, Everyone's there. Well, that's not working. Hey, Bert Martinez, Mike Hunt, how you guys doing? Uh, some reason this is not working. Try again. Uh, See what happens when you take some time off, Mike. You forget what you're doing. Where's print? Oh, all right. Uh, I'm telling you guys, don't take time off. You forget what you're doing. Uh, okay. We have to change that later. Bert Martinez, how you doing? I'm not sure who you are. Let me go ahead and take a look at you. Channel, go to channel. Welcome, Bert. I see you actually have a channel. You got 39 subscribers, only one video. But that one video had 1.2 thousand views. That's really nice. So, uh, we're still trying to figure that. I don't know what I'm doing wrong. What's this? Okay, that's a new button. That one's not. Hey Tim, how you doing, man? Thanks for coming. Uh, there it is. I don't know why it took so long, but If somebody wants to come up, they can come up. I don't need to see my own ugly mug. All right. Now, yes, I got back on Tuesday. It was a very pleasant trip to. That's good. Last week, Bert, I didn't do one last weekend. I was in Dumaguete. I had a great time. I wanted to be there. What was it? 7 nights, 8 days. But I lost 2 days because of one my own fault and one was the weather. So I was there five nights. Uh, had a great time. I'm going back to check it out again because I really enjoyed the place. But I can't say that wasn't because of the euphoria of being somewhere else besides here. Although I will say this, I had more of the euphoria of being somewhere new when I went to Dumaguete compared to Cebu City. I had a more euphoric feeling, a more relaxed and easygoing feeling in Dumaguete than I did when I got here and to the Philippines itself. So that might just been, getting used to everything. So we're going to go back. Actually, we're going to go back longer this time uh, and check the place out a little more thorough, but a little more on my own. Not necessarily, well, that's what I got to do yet. Not necessarily, how should I say this? Uh, Relying on others, trying to see the, oh, but it's not just being there, someplace new, giving me that feeling. And even if it is a place I decide I want to settle down, I won't do it this year. I got things I need to do over here. This will probably be my last trip this year compared to a lot of other expats. I don't have a lot of money. I know compared to the Filipinos, I'm really well off. So I'm not trying to say I'm poor compared to the Filipinos. I'm not saying that at all. Um, what I am saying is that compared to other people in my situation, I'm not exactly wealthy. Um, Many people, how should I say this? Uh, Many expats have more money than I do, and I don't begrudge them that. They earn that money. It's theirs to do with it as they feel, as they wish. And I hope they have
the most astonishing animal moments ever caught on camera. Number 6, a small herd of antelopes has been.
I don't know where that was. You could hear that. I brought up my phone, and I'm just trying to. All right, now we got that as well. So all I'm, uh, so I will be going back, like I said, to Dumaguete. I'm going back next month, first part of the month. I will be staying for A little over 2 weeks this time. I've already got my plane tickets booked. That's why I missed the first day because I did not take care of that in time. Yeah, that's true, Tim. That's what I said. I'm going back this month for wasn't just to go back. Uh, there's something else I want to do, and if I'm going to do it, I have to do it in the first part of the next month. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Uh, but we'll get that done. Uh, give me a moment, Brent, if you're still there, Brett. Uh, like I said, you seem to be legit, so I'll give you a blue card. So you won't feel so different if you make a comment. But yeah, and I'll take a few more videos. Hey, Jerry, I'll take a few more videos in that. I hope to get some. Left Hook Larry. All right, man. How you doing? We appreciate you coming. Let's check you out here in a minute. Now, Left Hook, you look like you're a player. And when I mean player, I mean game player. I don't mean anything derogatory here. Uh, so, uh, thank you for coming, Left Hook. Uh, now, I'm a retired. I was a retired security guard. I worked security for almost 40 years. I was contract security, which means wherever I was working at, I was a contract employee. I wasn't a direct hire. I worked for security. Well, I first started off with Pinkerton, and then CPP, California Plant Protection, bought Pinkerton. I never changed companies, stayed with the same company, all the same benefits and everything. And can't remember exactly what happened, but we went back to Pinkerton's. I don't know if they bought them back or California Plant Protection changed their name to Pinkerton. I'm not sure what happened there. And then later on, Securitas bought Pinkerton. Now, I worked under Securitas's contract. Umbrella. But the contract was Pinkerton. And then I switched from that only because where I was working at, the job ran out. Yeah, Pinkerton. Started off in Chicago, Illinois, about 1850 by a guy named Alan Pinkerton. And he started doing private investigations around Chicago. He claims, you can look it up, he claims he was the helped start the Secret Service. You will see pictures, if you look it up, you will see pictures with Alan Pinkerton with Abraham Lincoln and some of the generals. So I'm guessing he was providing security. He was doing it himself. He probably had he did a lot of undercover people. He's the one that started taking photos and using photos. Pinkerton was like I said, they were private security. But if you put a reward on somebody and they crossed borders, back before the U.S. Marshals and back before a lot of states were connected, if you left one state and went to another, the law enforcement couldn't follow you. They couldn't go past the state line or the county line. They were limited. But with Pinkerton, they were basically bounty hunters. Uh, they would go after people, and but they started keeping um, meticulous records and descriptions of people that were wanted. Like I said, they are the ones that came up with using pictures. Uh, so Alan Pinkerton was a visionary person, but was in law enforcement. But that's who I started working with. I started working with them. This December would have been 40 years. That's how long I was in security. And in case you're wondering, no, I'm beyond 60. I'm in my 70s. I didn't start doing that until my 30s. Uh, but you know, I'm almost always been service related. My very first job was an A&W root beer stand, the one after that first job I got fired from. My second job was a Bonanza Steakhouse. If you know Bonanza or Ponderosa, they're the same thing. And one group was one restaurant. I can't remember which one. I think it was Bonanza that was started originally by the actors. And in particular, I believe it was uh, Hoss, Dan Blocker. I believe he's the one that actually got it started. And then because he did not franchise, he did not get a patent on it. The owners started theirs, the producers of the show, and they called theirs Ponderosa. Now, I could be wrong. It could be vice versa. But Dan Blocker started first. The actors did. So that's where I worked that job until I quit in December of 71. And in January, I went and visited I graduated from high school, went to Iowa, visited with my cousins up there. And then I went in the Navy in March. And then the Navy, I was what they called a ship serviceman. Well, I worked there for almost a year and a half. I see. I'm trying to think. It might have been 2 years. I worked there for a while, year and a half to 2 years. And I can't remember if I started there in 69 or 70. That was 70. I started there in April of 70 and worked in December of 71. But I always enjoyed it. I mean, now at Bonanza, everybody that worked there, besides the managers that I worked with in the evening, most of us were either right out of high school or college, or in high school still. We had one or two that was in college. Most of us were between the age of 16 and 23 on the night shift, besides the manager. And it was a good time. Everybody got along. Well, 1970, that's the year I turned 17. I was 16 when I started the job, but I turned 17 that year. Turned 18 in 71 and 19 in 72. But that's all in September, which means next month I'll go from 72 to 73. Yes, guys, I'm a little older, and I'm enjoying myself. If I wanted to stay where I was at, I had to either, yeah, Jerry's a youngster, Tim. I either had to stay working or try to get on the government dole. By that I mean moving to a senior housing sponsored by the government. In my case, probably would have been New York State, might have been federal, uh, where they help subsidize your income by giving you cheaper rent. My problem is I made so much money working, and my Social Security the first year, because they go by what you made the year before. The first year I would have been broke the whole year. They would have said, "Hey, you got to pay this much." I believe it's like a third of your income, and if you add my income, uh, hopefully it'd just be my take home and my Social Security. Otherwise, I had less money than I would. Yeah, like I said, my rent. I think though your rent includes your utilities, I believe. So I could have probably survived, but I would have had to got rid of my car. I couldn't afford to keep it. I've been so broke, which I did. I got rid of my car to come here, but at least here, after I paid my rent, I got money to go do things. If I'd have stayed in the states, and if I was lucky enough to get into, because it can take up to 2 years to get in, and so if I'd been lucky enough to get in fairly quickly, I'd have been broke. And if I hadn't been lucky enough to get in, I'd have been even broker, if that's the correct term. I'd have been more broke because my rent, my utilities, and everything else would have wiped me out completely. Uh, I would have had to find someplace else to live. I couldn't stay where I was at. And so I decided I wanted to retire. Yeah, Jerry, I know sometimes I feel a lot older than I am, but I would want to find I wanted to find some place I could retire and enjoy my life. And I started thinking about this back in the teens, back around 20, 15 or so, and I started following vloggers. And the first vlogger I found that I started following was a guy called Thailand Rob. 20 Seconds in Thailand was his channel. And he started that channel just wanting to do short little clips, and they kept getting longer. We started doing full clips. I know some of you people won't like the next guy I followed, and that was Ricky from Life Beyond the Seas. And I don't remember. I'm not even going to try to name the next ones in order because I don't remember. But every time I'd add a blogger from one country, I'd add one from the other. And I started with Thailand. I then got uh, the Philippines, and I don't know who I went next, but I went right back to the other one to keep it even. Because bye, Jerry. Take care, man. You have a good trip to Mexico. I need to buy some more uh, load for my phone, but not just yet. I got enough to get by for a little while. Yeah, I'm on a load. I can't change over to a regular plan until end of November, I believe, middle of November to end of November. So I'll think about it in December. Yeah, well, like I said, when I started following him, he was still real new, Jerry. Uh, he hadn't started running around with a bunch of women or running around a lot. He was living a peaceful life out in the province a little bit, and I followed him for quite some time. Uh, then he got, I think they're married now, but he got his girlfriend, Vu, V-U, Vu, Vay, however you pronounce it. And it seemed to be more about, oh, look at my girl. I know it was probably more her wanting to be involved with him, but it just turned me off, so I quit watching him. I used to watch Geo also, and I just, no, I quit watching him. Uh, I have my reasons for it. I'm not going to bring it up. I'm not going to talk bad about anybody. Uh, I understand, Jerry. So I could say I was going to Mexico if I was still in the States, and most people would think I was talking about Mexico, Mexico. But there's a Mexico, New York, you know. And I found that out when I was still living in Indiana. There was these. I was working at a aluminum factory. They took aluminum, made aluminum foil. Before when I first started there, they were making aluminum cans, aluminum pipe, pizza pans, and plating. I mean, a real thick, heavy aluminum plating. They made that. They made all kinds of stuff, and they had these Canadian drivers that worked for Alcan. Well, it was contract with Alcan. They did a lot of loads, and they would come down to Terre Haute, drop off either the ingots or the corals to be rolled flat out, and then they would be saying they're going to Mexico. So I thought, well, what are they going? Man, that's a long trip. And then they were going back to Canada. I think they were over around Toronto, so it was kind of like us to Mexico and then up to Toronto. And so anyway, I was talking with somebody about it. I said, no, they're going to Mexico, New York. Okay. It's like we got where I'm from, there's a Paris close by, Paris, Illinois, very small town. There's also Paris, Texas. So you got to stop and wonder, are they going to that famous one or somewhere else? But yeah, like I said, I worked in security a long time. Uh, but I have to keep my SIN card up. I got to pay attention to it every time I do something. It takes at least 5 pesos. And if that's all it's taking, it takes a long time because I usually put 900 to 1,000 on it. Just get rid of that before it gets cold. Okay, I didn't know that, Jerry. I didn't know it was near Oklahoma. I just knew there was a Paris, Texas. Paris, Illinois is close to the Illinois-Indiana border, and it's about an hour drive from Terre Haute, if that were. Yeah, like I said, the only Social Security, only retirement I got is my own fault, but it's Social Security. They offer us a 401k. I didn't look into it. I should have, but I didn't. And so, like I said, that's why I'm as broke as I am because I didn't plan on my retirement. Because back in my teens, 20s, and 30s, and even 40s, I didn't think I'd live to retire. I didn't plan on it. I didn't plan on killing myself. No, I just didn't think I'd live that long. My lifestyle wasn't conducive to it. I was a drunk, and if I had the money and I wasn't working, I was out drinking. Uh, so and that was my lifestyle for many years. Now, once I got into my 30s and 40s, I slowed down, but I was still drinking a lot. And I quit drinking on a regular basis, somewhere around 1999, same year I quit smoking. I still drink, don't get me wrong. And I still do, I still drink. But now it's like I had a beer uh, last week when I was in, it was a week ago yesterday. I had a beer, one beer. And that was my first beer in a couple of years. Now, Earlier this year, I had a couple glasses of wine. Last year, I had a rum and coke. And I usually have one drink, maybe two a year. It's not a certain day. It just sometimes when I'm traveling, I'm staying at a hotel. I'll go down to the hotel bar, have a drink with my meal, hotel bar restaurant, have a drink with my meal, and then I go back to my room. That's it. I no more, So that's maybe, like I said, maybe twice a year. Depends on where I'm traveling. If I'm traveling by myself, if I'm traveling with my friends, they don't drink, so I usually just have uh, a soda. If I'm traveling by myself, it's like I'll have a drink. Then I go back to my room and I don't drink anymore. I just well, I should say I don't drink any alcohol anymore. If I have a Coke Zero or water, I'll drink something like that. But I have one alcoholic drink, maybe two occasionally. That's it. And if I'm driving, I have none. I do not drink and drive. I used to do that, and like I said, I quit that. At the same time, I cut back on drinking back in 1999. So it's been over 27 years since I did that. Uh, so I rarely drank because I wouldn't drink and drive. And most of the time, there were no bars near me that I would walk to have a drink. And there was a couple there was one when I was living in Leroy, New York, but I wouldn't walk that during the winter. It was a good little walk. But, well, Bert, I hope you liked your father. I love mine. My father was a truck driver cross country. And one of the reasons why I lived my life the way I did was because of my father. He didn't tell me to do it. No, no, no. What happened when I was about 12 years old, my father stood about 6'4", weighed about 258 pounds, strong as an ox. We were outside at my grandma's house, my mother's family, my grandpa's house, and my dad was talking with her younger brother, my Uncle Paul. Uncle Paul said he was getting tired, wanted to sit down somewhere, so he wanted to go inside. Well, my dad and my grandma, his mother-in-law, did not get along. They didn't like each other. So he just reached over. My Uncle Paul was about 6 foot, about 180, 200 pounds. Reached over, grabbed him, picked him up, and set him on top of the car. So there, you got a seat. No sweat whatsoever. Like I said, he just lifted, boom, there, sit down, behave yourself. It's like I said, and that was because he had to help load and unload his own truck back in those days. This is back in the late 50s, early 60s. So anyway, what happened to my father, which made me think you got to enjoy your life now, you can't put it off till later, was he was loading his own truck and probably having other people help him, but he lifted something wrong, and he pulled a bowel out of place. The bowels are what controls your bathroom movements. And my father went from 258 pounds down to 150 in 3 months. That's it, 3 months. And he went from being strong as an ox to weaker than a newborn kitten. He couldn't pick up 20 pounds without hurting himself. He got on disability within less than 6 months, total disability from the Social Security. And he, like I said, he was a truck driver. He had his Teamster. He had his union, Teamster dues too. But compared to the money he was making, the family wasn't doing it near as well. And for that 3 to 4 months, whatever it was, it took to get to Social Security, we lived on government assistance. Back in those days, they didn't have food stamps, but every so often they'd have cheese give out and powdered milk and stuff like that. And I remember standing in line with my mom to get that stuff. Like I said, I was 11, 12 years old. So I remember that. And I remember my father saying that if he was faking his injury, he could enjoy it, but he couldn't enjoy it because he could not. I couldn't tell you that, Shadow Prince. Uh, somebody thought just looked at your picture and thought, you're really cute, and so she's hoping you'll change your mind. Uh, I couldn't tell you. I met a Filipina, an older lady, someone real close to my age, and she's still working. And she said something about wanting to be friends on Facebook, and I let her know I'm not looking for a relationship. I don't want one. At my age, I want to find where I want to live. Take some time to decide what I want to do. I'm not looking to date anyone. Okay, yeah. The security guard we got in common. The truck driver was in common with my father. Uh, but I mean, she just like clammed on, and looks like she wants to pursue a serious relationship. And I have no interest in a serious relationship. I don't even want to date because I'm afraid that's what's going to happen. Uh, so, like I said, she may either be saw your picture, don't understand what a not husband material means, uh, or she was maybe thinking that she can change your mind. Uh, she may be hoping that you'll respond and maybe help her out because some of these dating sites have scammers on them. Now, the best way to keep the scammers away is to be here in the Philippines. And you let them know you're here and willing to meet. If they're a scammer, they'll leave you alone because they don't want. They're not interested. Most of them are not interested in meeting you. They just want to have somebody who's lonely back in the states, and then try to slowly get money from them and get as much money from them as they can before it shuts down. And they're doing that with more than one person. Uh, and in the states we have scammers too. They play a different scanner game. No, you're right, Tim. It's best to be uh, boots on the ground because that way, uh, because that way, if shoot, I take a grab ride, which is the same thing as an Uber for you guys in the states, and the drivers talk to you, and they find out you're single. They want to know if you're looking because they know somebody. Uh, there's always somebody who knows somebody. I won't go quite that far, Tim, but like I said, you weed them out by telling them you're in the States and you're going to be in their area within a week or so. It's like, huh, want nothing to do with this guy. He's going to want to meet. I can't get any money out of him. Some will still try to meet, and if they know you're going back to the States, show you a good time. I mean, they're not above that. They'll show you a good time. When you get back to the States, I hope you fell in love with them that week or two you were with them. Yeah. But like I said, they still may be trying to scam you, like I said, because they're hoping you're going back to the States. And if they can get you to fall in love with them in that week or two, they're hoping they can drain you of money while you're back in the States. I actually, I don't know what to tell you. Like I said, I'm not in your situation. I've never been in your situation because back when I was not husband material, the ladies knew it. Like I said, back in those days, I was a drunk. I was always in the bar. Uh, I don't know how old you are, Shadow, uh, but myself, in my late teens and 20s, I was in the Navy. I was always getting drunk. Yeah, that's a good one in the Philippines. Go to the mall or coffee shop. Uh, Here in Cebu City, if you go to a business park mall and set up bowls on the outside on the terrace, they'll hit on you. Those are the ones that don't want a service. They may want money for their services. And be careful, a couple will be lady boys, uh, but they'll hit on you. And you just, and not all, like I said, not all of them are looking for money. They're looking for you to take them out and have a good time. Uh, but they'll hit on you. Just sit outside on the terraces or sit outside of a coffee shop and they'll do this broad daylight. You don't have to do this in the evening. Uh, Thank you, Shadow. Like I said, I just talk and I have a lot of people that come in and they'll ask questions, or if you ask questions, they'll answer. Uh, Let me go back. I got to do something else. Uh, Oops, I got to do it on this other one. Excuse me. Uh, there he is. Left hook to Larry. There you go, left hook, if you're still here. I meant to do that earlier and forgot. And I was going to do it for Shadow Prince, and I thought I better do it for you first. All right. Uh, that way, if you ever decide you want to, the monitor means, and you can do it without it, I think. But on my channel, you type in 3Ls if you have a channel and you want to advertise it. You type in 3Ls, and my Nightbot will drop a link to your channel. Shadow Prince, I'd love to be 37 again and know what I know. I'd be by the time I was ready to retire, I'd be a lot better set up than I am now. But that would probably cause me to do a few things differently, and some of those things are stuff I wouldn't want to miss doing. Uh, Although at 37, a lot of that had already, some of that had already been done. Uh, but yeah, it just, oh, yeah. There's a lot of things I would like to change, but I don't think I should because that changes who you end up being. And not only who you end up being, what happens afterwards. That's the real problem. There's a lot of stuff that happened after some bad decisions that turned out to be okay. And would those things happen if I changed the bad decision? I know a couple of them wouldn't change. I don't believe would change anything because they were strictly only affected me. And I would love to change those things. which had nothing to do with anyone else, had nothing to do with some other things, other people. So, but uh, how do you do that? How do you go back and change just one little thing that won't affect anybody else, just yourself? Uh, you know, I don't know if you like. I quit smoking in March of 1999. Now, that didn't affect anybody else but me. But going back earlier and quitting and convincing myself to do it earlier, I don't think it would affect anybody else but me. I would have had more money to spend on other things, but knowing me, I'd have spent it on other things, which is fine. Might have kept me out of debt a little bit more, because I would have had a little more money. Not a lot, but a little bit. Every little bit helps. There's another thing I did. Legal. Everything I'm talking about is legal. Another thing I did that wouldn't affect anybody but me, that I would have not done. I think I was, if I had gone back earlier than what I had done that, there's something else I could have done that would have stopped me from having to do that. And neither one would affect somebody else, just me. Flipping the Blue Mill. How you doing, man? How you been? Flip, I know. There you go, Flip. Now, Flip, I believe this is your first time in my live stream. I know Flip from other live streams. If you have a channel and you want to advertise it, just type in 3Ls. And my Nightbot will drop your channel link. There's one live stream I go to. There's a few people there go by Flip. There's Flip Elliott, Flip the Blue Mule, and there's another Flip. I'm trying to, but we're just trying to get everything done. So, and for you other guys, Tim and Flip just showed you what to do. It can be three, like Tim did, just 3Ls, not capitalized, or it can be 3Ls capitalized. It doesn't matter. Just 3L. I think you can do a capital, small, and a capital, or a small, capital, and small. It would still work. Just 3Ls. That's all it takes. And Shallow Prince, the hotel I stayed at in Dumagetti, the rooms are all smoke free. That includes vaping. But they have areas set up to where the smokers and vapors can go and smoke. And Tim just showed that one capital L and two small still work. And now you take the mall at the business park, Cebu Business Park. There's no smoking or vaping in most areas, but they do have an area set up that you can go. I've seen people vape out on the terraces. They're not supposed to, I don't think. But if there's no, if no authorities around you, they get away with it. But they stay out away from where people. The terrace has got a wide spot, and there are certain areas away from most people. And I see what I believe they're vaping, but I don't believe it's legal. But like I said, if there's no authority around, I've not seen anybody light up a cigarette. But I think I've seen people do the vape. But like I said, there are places set up for it where you can go and sit outside and smoke or vape and do whatever you want, and it's perfectly legal. It's just you have to go to the correct spot to do it. Like I said, I don't smoke or anything anymore. Yeah, like I said, depends on where you're at. Uh, it's strictly forbidden on airlines, just like it is in the states. You can't smoke on the airlines. Uh, Tampering with a smoke detector in the bathroom is a crime. It's not just prohibited; it's a crime. Uh, now, most of the flights I take, yeah. See, Tim knows I'm an ex-smoker. I haven't smoked in over 27 years. Uh, Matter of fact, next month will be 27 and a half. I quit smoking March 3rd, 1999. So it'll be 27 and a half years September 3rd. And I'll be back in Dumagetti then. Uh, yeah, like I said, you got to be, there's certain, and there are areas where you can smoke or vape. You just got to find out where those areas are at. Uh, I used to smoke over a pack a day. Okay, I was a heavy smoker. At one time, I was over 2 packs a day. Uh, I was able to cut that back, but I always stayed right. I had gotten down to less than a half a pack a day, but I always went back up. Uh, it's enforced in most cities there, Tim, but uh, I think it depends on where you're at, how much they enforce it. I think they enforce it more indoors than outdoors in most areas because indoors, it doesn't dissipate and it doesn't. I think it does outside too if you're just walking down the street. Uh, but that's because I'm an ex-smoker. I'm a little more sensitive to it. Well, I never went vaping. I went strictly cold turkey. No vaping, no gum, no patch. I just went cold turkey, or some people call it white knuckle. When you squeeze your hands together because you don't want to smoke. I did that. I dreamt about cigarettes for about a year, uh, and after that, it's really easy now. I mean, I won't smoke a cigar celebrating somebody's birth of somebody's child. I've been offered cigars, and I have to tell people I'm a non-smoker. I'm an ex-smoker, and I'm not going to smoke anything because I'm afraid it'll lead back to cigarettes. I know a guy that I knew a guy. He may not even be around anymore. He was older than me. Quit smoking for 15 years, and his wife still smoked. And something happened, and so he felt some stress, and he thought, cigarette won't. It'll help me relieve this, relax here, and it won't hurt me. He was back to over a pack a day and nothing. I had a buddy that I worked with had quit for 5 years. Was at a party, decided a cigarette won't hurt, so he had a cigarette. A couple of days later, he had another, and pretty soon he was back to a pack a day or more. So it's like I won't smoke anything. No, keep it away from me. Uh, I'm not giving up 27 years of non-smoking because I might relax a little bit with a cigarette or a cigar, but no. I tried more than once, Shadow. I did. I tried more than once. Uh, I'd quit for a few days, maybe. I might even got a month. I think I went a month or maybe 2 months one time. And something happened, and I said, I want a cigarette. And I'd bum a cigarette from somebody. And then a little later on, it's like, I'm going to quit bumming. I'm going to. That's what happened with me when I quit this last time. I quit on March 1st. I tried to quit, and then I bummed a cigarette, and I light it up. I take a couple of hits, and I look at it. I said, either you quit right now, or you're going to go buy a pack of cigarettes. And yeah, okay, you're better off quitting. You really are, Flip. But I looked at that cigarette. I hadn't even smoked half of it. I tore it up, stomped it out, threw the filter away, and I haven't had a cigarette since. Now I've been tempted. Like I said, that first year, I was tempted, but I finally had reached the point where it was time to quit. And so, like I said, I smoked for a pack a day for over 27 years. Because, like I said, I was 45 when I quit. And I was smoking full time by the time I hit 18, but I started smoking before that. So after I got out of boot camp at 18, I was a pack a day man then. So I was a pack a day for about 27 years. And boot camp, the only reason I wasn't at a pack a day was because they let you know when you can have a cigarette and when you can't. And if you're caught smoking when you're not supposed to have a cigarette, let me tell you this, you don't want to be caught smoking when they say the smoking lamp is out. Because that's how they do it in the Navy. The smoking lamp is lit. That means you can have a cigarette, two cigarettes. Until they turn it out, you can smoke. But once they say the smoking lamp is out, you better be done smoking and don't get caught afterwards because they'll send you to exercise that will exercise that stubbornness right out of you, or they'll put you in the brick and give you just bread and water for a few days. I never attempted it. I didn't do it, but I know how the military works. When they say don't do something, you better not do it. Or if you do it, don't get caught. But, talking about smoking in the military, we, when I was in boot camp, our company commander, which is the same thing as a drill instructor in the other branches, we call them company commanders. He was a boiler tech. I was a ship serviceman. Now they call them retail specialists. But anyway, while we were in boot camp, he marched us over to this one area in the barracks area, and there's a fence there. And on the other side of that fence is the the Marine Corps boot camp. And he lets us sit down. So the smoking lamp is lit, so we can sit down and have a cigarette. And we're sitting there smoking, and these Marines are running by and doing all this physical exercise, probably pissed as hell, seeing a bunch of sailors sitting there smoking because they couldn't. And he says, look, guys, he says, I know you're thinking about it. Not all of you, but a lot of you are thinking about it. You're wondering if you should run. I'm going to tell you right now, don't run that direction. We'll get you back. It may take a while after the Marines catch you on their base, but we'll get you back, and you'll be happy to come back. Now, don't go that direction. That's the ocean. Unless you're a real strong swimmer, don't go that way. And so, yeah. And I was a smoker before I went in myself. And I just didn't quit. I quit one time in the Navy. I was 21, 22, somewhere in there. And I was in this group thing. And they was always complaining about my smoking. So I thought, I'll quit. I quit for about a week. And my hands were all over the place because I didn't know what to do with them because I wasn't smoking. So they came in after about a week. They got together, came in, handed me a pack of cigarettes and said, go back to smoking. You're driving us nuts. If they could have put up with it, maybe I would have quit back then. But I went right back to smoking, right back to a pack a day. So, yeah. But yeah, if you for your own health, quitting smoking is the best thing to do. And I hear vaping is better in some ways, but it can be dangerous too. Those vape pens can be bad. I don't know. I never used them, but that's what I've heard. And so I have no desire to take up vaping or anything like that. But yeah, I think when I go to, I have to just try to decide. But when I go to Dumaguete this next time, I may do it on my phone. Maybe I'll do a. I have two phones, and so I might try to do a live stream on my phone. I don't know if I'll have the capability of pulling if somebody wants to come up to bring them up, but we'll see what's going on there. Uh, Although it won't be Sunday morning, guys. It'll have to be Saturday night here in the States. I mean, here in the Philippines, Saturday morning in the States, or Sunday evening here in the Philippines and Sunday morning in the States. The reason for that is at the time of this, and I may change my mind. If I do, you'll know when I post it, but it'll be a short one. Uh, I'll probably want to go up at least one time to the Sunday market, get some video up there. Uh, and You were a tin can sailor, all right? Okay. Like I said, I was a ship serviceman. I was on a destroyer tender flip. I don't know what you was in, but I was on the USS Dixie. Well, I'm not worried about where I do it at. I'm just worried about the time I do it. Uh, my hotel room didn't seem to be too bad. Uh, the reason why I'm saying I'm not may not do it at the time is because uh, the Sunday market in Valencia is one of the places I want to go back to, uh, and I want to take videos of it. I didn't do it the last time. It is huge. You walk around. There's all kinds of vendors selling food for you to eat, selling food that you can buy and take home. They have cotton candy. They have hot sauces. They have. Hey, Melina, Mila, how you doing, Mina? Namaste. Thank you for coming. Yeah, that market is huge, and I went there on my trip last time, but I didn't take any videos. I went there just to observe it and take the sights in. I'm doing quite well, Mina. I hope you're doing good too. I'm doing well, so glad to hear you're doing good. But like I said, I want to go back and take some videos. Uh, I had a guide tour. I paid for a guided tour, and we uh, he was going to sit with the van. And I said, no, 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 come find me, and we'll get something to eat, and I'll pay for it. I mean, I I did the same thing when I was in China back in '99. A group of us went over, and this was vacation, not living like I am here. But a group of us went over. And one of the guys was a big kung fu fan, which I enjoy kung fu, and he wanted to go see the Shaolin Temple. And so we stopped in this city, Nanju, or I don't ask me to pronounce it correctly, but outside that city up the mountain is a small village with a few kung fu schools, and the Shaolin Temple is there, just like it is in the movies. So we hired a driver to take us out there, and he's going to be with us all day. So every time we stopped and got something to eat, we paid for his meal. We paid for his van, which included the gas, but we also included his meals. We paid his meals. And I think we bought him a ticket so he can go around and see things. But we split that among six of us, so it wasn't that expensive. Uh, Here, I paid for the whole thing, went by myself, so it was a little more expensive for one person to do it by themselves, but it's what I wanted to do. I wanted to go one day on Saturday. I went around Dumaguete and Sibilon and Durham, which is these are two small uh, cities right next to Dumaguete. I went and checked them out. The airport's at Sibilon. That's when you fly into Dumaguete. It's actually in Sibilon, and Durham is a little farther out, but that's more of a beach resort area. And there's places to live, but that's where all the scuba diving places are out there. That's where the best beaches are at in that area. Uh, Both areas are nice. I would not live in Durham when I first moved there for the simple reason that uh, their public transportation leaves, for a person my size, leaves somewhat to be desired. So if I was going to live up there, I would want my own transportation. I want my own vehicle, and I don't want to buy a vehicle when I first get there, even if I decide to live there, until I decide this is where I really want to stay. I'm here in Cebu City right now. This is what I'm doing. I don't I don't want to live here for the rest of my life. This is not where I want to be. It's a nice place. I like it. For some people, it's perfect. It's just I want something more laid back, something a little easier going. I mean, I can live in places like that, but when you're living in places like that around here, if you want to go do something, you gotta call a grab. And I'm not riding on the back of those bicycles. Those people, not all of them, but a lot of them, I don't trust them driving. I wouldn't. No, I wouldn't do it. So I take the grab car, and that's not cheap. Over in Dumaguete, I can take a trike. That's a motorcycle with a sidecar set up to usually hold about three people, and it's 20 pesos. I mean, I'm paying 104, 300 and some pesos, depending on the time of day. I've lost a little bit. I haven't weighed myself. Uh, the only reason I know I've lost a little bit is I've been able to tighten my belt a little tighter. Uh, some of the pants have gotten a lot looser, uh, but I still are eating, especially here in Cebu. I'm still eating a lot of junk food, uh, a lot more than I should. Uh, Although I'm trying to cut back on that. One of the things I'm trying to last month I didn't do I blew clear through my budget. Hell, I blew through my income. I went into my savings, which is fine because some of that savings is geared towards my dental, and I can rebuild that before I have to do anything else if I decide to do any more. I so that's the savings I blew through. I went into, I should say. I didn't blow through it. I just went into it. Uh, and that's because I was going down to the mall a lot. Uh, I haven't decided. I go back in either December or January. They want to see me again. Uh, they're even if I don't, even if I decide to stay with the partial, I'll probably get some work done, like some crowns or something done with my other upper teeth. Uh, as you can see, I sit around without my uh, dentures in a lot. I can eat with my dentures. I got like a polygrip. I'm not sure it's not the polygrip brand, but it's the dental grip that you put into your partial and it holds it in. So most of the food I can eat with that. I have not tried a really tough, like a roasted, not a roasted, barbecued pork chop, grilled pork chop or grilled steak. Although the steak, as long as it's not overcooked, if I get it around medium, I can eat it. I've eaten steak with it in. It's been cut up to smaller pieces, and that's what I would do. That's what I'm doing with the partial. I'll cut up the food into smaller bites. Yeah, it just I'm more comfortable without the dentures. And if I'm at home, I don't even eat with the dentures. I still eat without them. Now, if I go out, sometimes I'll eat without them. Sometimes I'll eat with them in. It depends if I put the grip in. If I use the grip, then whatever I have, I'm going to eat with it in because it's too much of a pain to take them out if you got the grip in. If you don't have the grip in, you take it out, put it. I think I've showed you before. Uh, you put them in a retainer case because mine's just the one spot, and the retainer is not much smaller or much bigger than what I my partial. So that's what I do, and if, then I stick it back in. It's getting easier to put them back in uh, without the denture cream. So we may continue doing that, and so. But yeah, we're slowly figuring things out. Like I said, even if I go to Dumaguete and decide to move over there for a while because better financially, better everything for me in every other aspect, that doesn't mean that's where my final landing spot is. It just means I'll get over there, get set up, probably get a 6 month or a year lease, and then after I get settled in, maybe travel to Bye Bye and see Dan and Man Benny. Go down to Davao City and catch up with Danny and his girlfriend Irene, or and Jamie and his woman Pierre sometime. I'll do it when they're both there. So it won't be this winter because Jamie, unlike most expats that go home a lot, he goes home during the winter. He's the only expat I know that wants to go back during the winter. He likes to play with these winter toys and snowmobiles and stuff like that. And he goes back and he works and repairs these big diesel motors that are probably shut down for the winter. Uh, or so he goes back and does that. Whether he's back here for 3 months, 6 months, I don't know. I haven't asked Jamie, but him and Danny. Jamie's channel is Off the Cuff Adventures with Jamie. Danny's channel is The Road to the Philippines, and they both live outside of Davao City. But I'll go to Davao City. I want to be in the city. Those are the areas I want to take. Well, I've already taken one. Of course, when I'm saying vacation, I'm saying from where I'm living. I'm going somewhere else. So I took one vacation to Dumaguete, and I'm going to take a second one. Then I won't probably take another vacation this year. And if I decide I'm going to move over to Dumaguete, then I'll go back over sometime early next year, try to find a spot to live. And then set that up and then come back here, close everything down here, and then go back over. But hopefully at this time I'll be able to go by ferry It's a lot cheaper right now. Uh, Rego Park, New York City. No, I did not see them. Uh, Mike, I don't know if you know who Mike Philippine Retirement is. He was here in Cebu when I was in Dumaguete. I'll get together with him at least. And Mike, Elo is another place I'd like to check out. It really is. Uh, it's got, I can't say it has it all because remember now, it has all that you want. It may not have what I want. It may be too large for me again. That's the problem with Cebu City. I just think it's too large for me. I want something smaller. Now, Dumaguete may end up being too small. Uh, but Elo is, I want to see that river walk. Even, like I said, even if I decide Dumaguete is the place for me to live for the rest of my life, or at least what I plan on, uh, let's say I get there and I don't ever plan on leaving, that doesn't mean you won't change your mind later. But even if I do want to stay there forever, when I decide to move over there, after I move over there, I still want to check these other places out. But it'll be a slow, to me, it'll be a slow, uh, may not be what other people call a slow travel, but to me, it'll be a slow travel. Uh, or be like every 3 or 4 months, I'll go somewhere for a couple of weeks, check the place out, and then go back to my home base. That's what I was planning on doing here in Cebu. It really was. But Cebu's not for me. I already know it. And I know it's a good place to travel out of. So it may cost me a little more to live over there and travel, but it'll cost me less to live there, and I'll be happier, I think. Yeah, I want to be close to the hospitals, the good hospitals. Elo has one, Deval has one, uh, Cebu City has more than one. Uh, Dumaguete has a couple decent hospitals, which is what I want. Uh, they got uh, they got Silliman, the university is a teaching hospital, and then they got Ace Hospital, which is a private hospital, supposed to be pretty good. So that's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a place that I'm comfortable with a good hospital. So I don't want to live out in the province unless it's real close to the city. I mean, let's say I live outside. Let's say I live in Silliman. It's right next to Dumaguete. Let's say I live in Darwin. I think we. No, I'm not. No, I was a security guard. Carrying a badge here wouldn't do me any good. I was not a cop. I was a security guard, and it'd be illegal to pretend to be a cop. That's a federal offense. So I would not do that. No. And where I was working at, we didn't even wear badges. Uh, I wore a shirt that said security, had Securitas symbol that said Securitas Security, but it was a patch that I wore. It wasn't a badge. It was a patch sewed onto the shirt. And so uh, I wore that same shirt at two different job sites. Well, a couple more than that, but two job sites that I was assigned to on a regular basis. Well, that's not too bad. Uh, like I said, in Cinnabon, if I lived there, uh, Subulon, I think it's pronounced Subulon. If I live in Subulon, that's where the airport's at, and there's cheaper housing there as well. So, like I said, I'll look this to Subulon because there's going to be treks in that area because of the airport. Well, Mactown, Newtown, and you got the Newtown right. Mactown, I think is that an O or an A? I think that should be an A. Uh, Mactown, Mactown, Newtown, Mactown. But anyway, if you live in Mactown, Newtown itself, that's not cheap. You're looking at spending some good money. Uh, that's one of the well in on Mactan itself. That's probably the biggest bubble there is. And for those of you who don't know what I mean by bubble, a bubble is a area that is geared towards mid class, uh, middle income Filipinos and expats. More towards the expats, but also the middle income. It's everything's higher. Uh, I have a one bedroom apartment, 36 square meters. Now I'm outside the bubble, so it cost me 30,000 pesos. Now, if I lived in the bubble, I would actually have a smaller one bedroom apartment, and it would cost me more than 30,000 if you live in the bigger bubbles. Uh, Yeah, there's good hospitals around. I don't know about if I'd call them great in Iloilo, but they're good. Uh, I do know they're good hospitals in Iloilo. Uh, I know that from I can't think of the name of the channel, but there's another guy. He's a retired military, and he lives outside of Iloilo, and he has the military insurance, and he goes into Iloilo for his medical because the military approves. Like if he has to pay for it, he's reimbursed. It's a hospital the VA system recognizes as being good, and you can use your what is it, uh, TRICARE there, and so that's what he does. So, like I said, do know it's. I do know it's got a good hospital. I use the term great seldom for hospitals. For me, a great hospital in the Philippines would be in Manila. There's where your great hospitals are. Your world class are your great hospitals. Your good hospitals, which are better than normal, that's a good hospital. Uh, those are in places like, yeah, Cebu may have a great hospital. I haven't checked it out enough, but they have some really good. Uh, all right, yeah, I'll go. I'll go with you. I'll use the term great for those hospitals. The best hospitals are in Manila and probably Cebu City, but you do have some great hospitals outside of it. When I say great, I want to say they're close to the standards of a good hospital in the states. Uh, we're not talking about small town hospitals. We're talking about the bigger hospitals. When I say they're good or great hospitals, I'm comparing them to the big city hospitals in the states. They're not the best in the states, but they're good, and they're some. They may be great for most things. I'm talking about cities like Buffalo, uh, Albany, uh, Indianapolis, where I'm from, Indiana. Those are your best hospitals in those areas. Uh, but they're equivalent to hospitals. Uh, some will be equivalent to those hospitals. Some will be equivalent to a hospital like Cincinnati, uh, Rochester, uh, and I'm talking Rochester, New York. Uh, Terre Haute has a couple of good hospitals. But like I said, if you need the better hospitals in Indianapolis, so like I said, but you can get most treatments that you need, and that's what a great hospital. You're talking about great. I'll give you that. That's what they are. They can give you almost everything you need. They can keep you alive. Uh, yeah, if you have TRICARE, now remember you got to keep it up if you're entitled to it. And there are certain hospitals you go to that TRICARE. You have to check. Uh, uh, this longer like Dazzle or Dazzle. Uh, uh, so, like I said, there are places that TRICARE will, if they don't pay it for you, will reimburse you for it because they approve of the hospital, and Elo has that. So, like I said, they do that. I'd have to call that one a great one. If I'm going to say the best or Manila, that would have to be a great one. Probably one step below Manila's. You know, are the best because Manila has world class hospitals. At least one, if not two. Uh, so those are the best, ones that are world class. And like I said, I want what I was calling good. I'll have to call great. Good to great hospitals is what I want. I don't want a provincial hospital. I mean, which is shut down at certain hours and places like that. And one of the places I will, one of the places you're talking about, Clark, I'll probably go to Clark just to see Tim and maybe check that area out. I'm not worried about downtown in Angeles City. I'm not worried about that. Uh, but another place I'll may go just to visit after I visit the places I've already wanted to pick if I still feel like visiting is Civic Bay, Olongapo area. 'Cause that's where I served. I was in the Navy down there. People said, "Don't you want to go see it?" No, I'm not wanting to live down there. I, I, I don't, I'm not seeing, maybe because I haven't seen a lot of videos of how it's changed. Uh, the only guy I know that vlogs down there, it's me, Bob. That's his channel name. It's me, Bob. And he lives outside of Longapo. And he's usually sitting on his porch talking about something. There's Civic Bay Johnny, Kevin, the, Kevin and Civic or something like that. I need to check their channels out. Civic Bay Johnny, I followed for a little while. He does a lot of walking around, and it's mostly in Longapo. If you ask me, it didn't look like the Freeport. I would want to check out the Freeport first. And so, yeah, it's just a lot of things I'd like to do. But like I said, the very first thing is finding someplace to live besides here in Civic City. And I decided if I like New Spaghetti enough, I'll make that my port of my home port, as we would say in the Navy. That's where I'll put down my roots for a while and check out other places. Uh, Only because uh, it's just too expensive here for me. Like I said, I'm a poor expat, not poor compared to the Filipinos. I'm not saying that. Yeah, and we do. They've reopened some bases. Now we don't control those bases. Flip. What's going on is these are Filipino bases, and we come in and rotate out. There's not like it used to be. It's a lot more of a rotation. You don't stay as long. I don't think you're allowed to live off the base. When I was there in Civic Bay, I was there for 3 months. I could have moved off the base anytime I wanted. Uh, yeah, that's an area. Like I said, I will check that area out, but it's going to be after I'm done checking out some other areas. Uh, and who knows? I would decide, hey, I live down here now. I'm going to move down here. But you got to have a place to. Uh, yeah, I knew what you did there, Flip. But you got to have a place of base of operations, a home port, a. I'm trying to think of another term that I've heard people use. Uh, but basically, it all says the same thing: a place where you stay, and then you go out and check everything out, come back, go out, come back. Uh, a lot of people like to pick Cebu because it's centrally located. You got easy access to really good airports. Uh, if you need to fly, you got the ferries. Well, I have that in Cebu, but I'd have to take the premium economy out of Dumaguete to somewhere else, maybe to there. I don't know how many direct flights I'll have to places outside of Cebu City, and they only have one of those. I think once a day or once a week. So who cares? Uh, but yeah, it's something that I'm going to take my camera down for a moment. Uh, Need to wipe my nose. I don't want you guys watching. Okay. And so anyway, uh, like I said, it's just going to be my base of operations. Uh, that's what a home port is in the Navy. That's where you're stationed at. You may go out somewhere else for a while, like our Westpac. We go out on the Westpac, but when we return back to the States, we went to our home base. And our yeah, we went to our home base, our home port. Yeah, like I said, San Diego was my home port on all the ships I was on. I was on 3 different ships. Always, like I said, always stationed out of San Diego. So that's my home port. And all 3 ships were different. My very first ship, like I said, was a destroyer tender, the USS Dixie AD-14. She got commissioned just before World War II, served in World War II, served in Korea, and served all the way through Vietnam. She didn't get decommissioned, if I remember right, somewhere around 1980. So she was around 40 years old when she got decommissioned. When I got on her, she was 32. When I got off, she was 36. I was on her for 4 years, from 72 to 76. Now, from 76 to, I was only on her for a short period of time, the USS Long Beach, a nuclear cruiser, CGN-9. And I had to do some training when she went overseas, so I was transferred off for the training. Then I went on the uh, LST, landing ship tank, 1184, the USS Frederick. And I picked that ship because I was misinformed. I was looking for a ship that just went over, or we're just getting ready to go over. And that's what I told the guy. I want one that just gone over. Another one, she's over there, but she just got there, or she's getting ready to go over. Well, he gave me my choice of the USS Kitty Hawk. I don't remember her number. She was a CVN aircraft carrier, and the Frederick. And they said something about a month. So my understanding, according to my request, she'd only been over there a month. And so I thought, well, I'll take the LST. And so I get in line at the airport, the Navy airport, to fly to Hawaii. And then I'm going to fly over to pick the ship up overseas. So I get in line, and I'm standing in line, and they call me aside and say, look, she's coming back. And we're not going to send you to Hawaii. You're going to stay here and wait on her. Well, I wasn't happy with that. I said, come on, man. I said, if I got to be TAD, let me go to Hawaii. And I'll be TAD in Hawaii, and I'll enjoy the TAD a little more. Nope, you got to stay here. Hey, Danny, how you doing, man? Oh, I love Dumagetti. I'm going back next month. I'm going to go back on the 2nd, and I'm coming back here on the 18th. There's some things. The reason why I'm going over that early, there's something. I was invited to something, and I told them I'd try to make it, so I'm going to go ahead and go over and make that. And then I want to stay longer to check it out more on my own, because maybe it was the euphoria of being somewhere else, finally going somewhere besides Cebu City. I'm going to be honest. I think the expats in Dumagetti are a little more friendly than the expats here in Cebu City. They seem to be a little more cliquish here. Now, I'm not saying you can't join them, but you have to go to a meetup somewhere and get to know them. Like, me, I like to sit on the terraces. They sit off by themselves with who they know, and they don't want to talk to you because they don't know you. That's weak, it appears to me. That maybe they just don't like my looks. I don't know. But when I was in Dumagetti, I was having breakfast on Saturday morning. Met a couple of expats there. They were talking about going on a motorcycle ride, and I'd asked to sit with them because at the same table was a big table. And seat like 6 people, and I sat away from them. But they were talking about going on a motorcycle ride. We talked some, but I told them I was just visiting. And they said they were going to go on that motorcycle ride, and they asked me if I wanted to go with them. So we know where you can rent a motorcycle. I was already signed up to take a guided tour around Dumaguete and Cimarron and Darren. And so I said, no, I've got to already have plans. And so I did that. And then a friend of mine got a hold of me, said they were going up to, and this person already knew, they were going up to, they knew couple people that were in a band and they were going to be playing just before you get to Valencia. So I said, sure, I'll go. I'll be back from my trip by then. So they came and picked me up, took me up to the club called Spicy's, I think was the name of it. And there's a whole group of people they knew that was sitting there. I mean, at least a dozen people, maybe more. And we're sitting there talking and having a good time. This one guy keeps watching me, and I'm thinking, does he think he knows me from somewhere, or is he trying to decide if he likes me or not? And so, I have a bite to eat, and I have one beer, and I have a couple Coke Zeros. And then my friends are ready to go, so I get up and I tell everybody goodbye. Yeah, Flip, an LST is not a comfortable ride. But anyway, the guy I'm talking about, he looks at me and says, I'm having a party at my house tomorrow at 11 in the morning. You're welcome to come. Your friend, they're going to be there. They've got the address. And I said, hey, man, I would love to go, but I got this tour. I already paid for this tour to come up and see Valencia Sunday Market and to travel around this area and see things. All right, that's cool. But so there's my second invite from somebody I just met. So now the next day I go to the Sunday market and I walked around a bit and decided I wanted to sit down in the shade. And the most comfortable place in the shade that I could find that was truly in the shade was next to this other expat and his wife. And I said, do you mind if I sit down? They said no. So I sat down and the wife gets up to go buy something or whatever. And the guy looks over at me and says, hey, look, we have a get together almost every day at the McDonald's. Because I told him where I was living, what hotel I was staying at. He says, it's only about 3 blocks from where you're staying. We get together around 7:30 every morning, a bunch of expats, and we talk it over, and we uh, figure out ways to solve all the world's problems. We solve all the world's problems. He says, you're more than welcome to join us. So in 2 days, 3 different groups or 3 different people invited me to join them doing something. That doesn't happen. I've never had one person here invite me to join them to do something if they've been here any length of time at all. They're standoffish. You got to join you got to go to their meetup, meet them there, get to know them there. And if they like you, then they'll take you into what they're doing. Like I said, Dumaguete just seems like boom. That's it. I had a nice talk. You seem like a nice guy. Come on, let's go. Let's go do something. And so yeah, I do like Cebu City. It's too large for me. And like I said, now the Filipino people are great here. They're great everywhere. They were great in Dumaguete. They're great here in Cebu City area. Uh, really like the Filipino people no matter where I go. All right, Flip. Then we know where you're going. That's where your girl lives. That's where you're going. Yeah, it really was. Like I said, so I really felt very comfortable. And I felt comfortable before that happened. Because remember, I got there on a Thursday and it just felt As soon as I got there, I just felt like, man, this is nice. Nice place. It's kind of quiet. Uh, the videos that you see, that was on a Friday night. That's before I met any of those people. I went down to the, I heard there was a lot going on Friday and Saturday nights. It was just typical Friday night, from my understanding, the way people were talking. And I went down there and checked all that out, and it was a great time just walking around. I interacted with some of the people there, but I wasn't there to interact with people that just to interact. I'm a talker, Danny, as you well know. You met me. I'm a talker, and that can turn some people off as much as I like to talk. Other people enjoy the back and forth, and so it just and some people are some people are just a little shy when they meet someone new, and it takes a little longer to warm up to them. I used to be that as a kid. When I was young, I was very shy around new people. But once I got to know them, I became a ham. You know, I'm talking back when I was 4, 5, probably even 10 years old. Probably by 10, I was probably pretty much out of my shyness. I don't blame you, Flip. I don't know how far where she lives is from Ilo. But if she's willing to go there and check it out, she's willing to go there just to check it out, just because it's someplace new, maybe someplace she's never been. But if she's willing, if that's where you like to live, and she likes it and is willing to move there, good. Like I said, I'm not. Oh, Zindy is your girl. Zindy's a nice girl, or at least she seems to be. From what I can tell on YouTube. I like Zindy. She seems like a good person. But for me, I don't want a girlfriend until I know where I want to live. Because let's say I meet somebody here in Cebu City and they know I want to move somewhere. They may say they're okay with it because they're hoping to change my mind. And when the time comes, it's like, oh no, I don't want to go. Let's stay here. I'm going. I told you that from the beginning. So then you can cause hurt feelings, and that I don't want to do. I made a mistake when I was in Dumaguete when I went up to the falls after the Sunday market. One of the really easy falls are not very few steps. And when I say very few, I mean less than a half a dozen. Okay. And I'm talking about climbing up or climbing down. That just falls. And at any one time, that's very few. You got one fall over here. One fall, when you're looking at to the right, is the cooler fall coming down from the mountain. The other fall is the hot springs coming down. And you can tell the difference. One gets kind of like the reddish rocks, and the other one doesn't. And you both of them walk right from the break area, and the fall coming down from the mountain. The cool water mixes with the orange spring waters, so it cools off those waters, and you can go swimming in both waters if you. And I didn't take swim trunks. I wasn't there to go swimming. Well, I sat down to have a cup of coffee, and my guide happens to be friends with the lady that manages the place, and she's close to my age. And we're talking, and she asked me if I had Facebook, and I said, yeah. She wanted to know if she could have my Facebook page. So I gave her the Facebook page of my Filipino phone. Now, I'm pretty sure I made it clear I'm not looking for a relationship outside of friendship. That's all I'm looking for. I don't want a girlfriend. I don't want a wife. I don't want a part-time lover. of any kind. I'm just not ready for it. I may never be ready for it. I'm 72, going on 73. I've never been married, and I have no problem not getting married. If I met the right woman later on, maybe I would, but I'm not looking for that right now. I'm looking to stay single, not date anybody, live my life for me until I decide what I want. That may be 2 or 3 years before I'm ready to have a relationship. I don't know. But it seems like she was wanting a relationship. So I'm trying to put the kibosh on that idea without being too mean about things. If she posts something, I take my real sweet time to answer just to help her understand I'm not looking to be tied down. I don't want to be tied down. Well, hey, I understand it's hard. I understand it's hard for the people who've been married and enjoyed their marriage, uh, enjoyed the companionship, the friendship, the love, the experience. But I never had that. I mean, I've lived with a couple of women, a very short period of time, so never developed to that type of understanding. And I haven't. I have. I will be honest with you. I haven't dated probably since 2015, 2014, somewhere in that area. Uh, and I've been very uh, dedicated to not dating. I'm trying to think of how to say it. I was dedicated to not dating because like I said, I was in my 60s back then, and the women I would be dating would have been late 50s, early 60s, or I should say mid 50s to early 60s. Uh, so I didn't want to date, and the reason for it was I decided I was not staying where I was at, not going to do it. And you date somebody for a while, and oh yeah, great, you know, I look forward to going somewhere different. And 99.9% of them's lying to you because they're wanting to change your mind just like the Filipina does. And the reason why I say that, 99.9, and it may be a little lower than that, it might be not just 99%, of the women who have kids, I should say, of the women who had kids. Well, my age group, they were the grandmothers, which I don't mind that term. But the problem with a grandmother is she don't want to leave her grandkids to go somewhere else, not that far away. Because then they start thinking about it. Look, I can't just go back anytime I want. We're too far away for that. But yeah. But anyway, like I said, it happens to be uh, a thing I took in consideration a long time ago. Do I want to be tied to someone who very well may be just saying, yeah, because they want to be with you, to, oh, I'll change his mind. He's going to fall in love with me and we'll stay here forever so I can watch my grandkids grow up. Not going to happen. So that's why I just didn't date. I didn't want to. I have to choose between her and leaving. I chose to leave. And that's the same thing now. I don't want to date. I don't want to even think about dating until I decide what I want to do. And that first year in new beginning will not be the final decision. That's just going to be, relax now. I'm in a place I can afford to live. Now we'll check this out. Now we'll check that out. And I might take me 2 years to check out the places I want to check out. And it's simple enough. Yeah, I want to decide the life I want to live, not the life somebody else wants to live. Once I have the life I want to live, if I meet somebody who wants to live that same life, I might be open to a relationship, but not till then. This is going to take me 2, 3 years. I'm not going to sit here and let some woman lock me into being the only woman that I'm seeing, or she's going to get mad about it. I don't care. I don't care. I'm not trying to hurt her feelings. I'm just not ready to have someone trying to put their brand on me. To use a cowboy term, I'm not a cowboy, but that's a term they would use. They brand you. In other words, you belong to them. I'm not ready for that. I don't want that. And I am looking, personally, right now, by way of thinking this, I prefer a woman over 50. And I prefer 10 years younger than her. This lady's not. She's a little older than that. But I wouldn't hold that against her if things would change. But I'm not looking, and I don't want to look, and I don't want her sitting there thinking, oh, well, I got a chance. No, you don't. Just figure you don't have a chance. In 2 or 3 years, if I'm still not happy with my situation, and maybe it's because I want a partnership, then we'll revisit. But it's going to be on my terms when I'm ready. Because you leave it on the Filipinas' terms, she's ready right now. I mean, most Filipinas, and it's because of the way they were raised, they want to be married. They want to have a family. I understand that. That's why I don't want a 18, 19, or 20 years or 30 years old, because they want right now. And I'm going to be honest about it. Even when I'm ready to settle down, I don't want that age group. Nothing against the women. They could be the best women ever. I don't have the energy or the desire to go out partying, to go out and visit every night or every couple times a week, to go out and go dancing and go to a friend's house and spend all night drinking and singing. And I mean, once in a while is one thing. But when you're talking about women that age, they want to do it 2, 3, unless they got a lot of kids, they want to do it a lot. And I don't blame them. I was the same way at their age. I'm just not that way anymore. I got all my the wild hair up my backside is long gone. I've done all that. Go out on the drop of a dime. Hell, go out on the drop of a hat, and I'd be the one to drop the hat so I could go out. I mean, I was going out every night at that age, in my teens, my 20s, and pretty much my 30s. The only times I didn't go out is if I didn't have the money or I had to work. It was that simple. I was out every night that I had the money and wasn't working. If I was working day shift, it was every night. As long as I had the money. When I was working overnights, it was only when I had days off. But if I was working the mid shift, the 2 to 10, the 3 to 11, the 4 to midnight, I would go out after I got off because in Indiana the bars didn't close till 3:30. So, like I said, yeah, I want a home life Filipino, uh, which probably means they'll have kids, but hopefully they'll be grandparents. So we watch the kids spoil them, send them back home to their parents. All right, hey Tim, I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go ahead and go too. It's been 2 hours. I wasn't planning on going this long, but I will be back on next week, and so I'll set it up probably earlier in the week than I did this one. So remember, I want to thank you all for coming. I'm really glad you're here. If you hadn't given me a thumbs up, would you please give me a thumbs up before you go out? That helps the algorithm. Uh, thank you for those that commented in it. The comments help as well. So, like I said, I want to shut this one down. Uh, Got to blow my nose too, and it's about time for a CR break. So, all right, everybody. Thanks for coming. Remember now, be kind to each other. Take care of yourselves. Stay safe. Stay healthy. Plus, as always, have fun. Take care.